everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well and you had a wonderful week. Today we'll be looking at simultaneous equations and we'll be looking at the linear part of it. And then our next video we'll be looking at quadratic simultaneous equations, or equations with a squared number in it. If you haven't done so before, please click the subscribe button below and also hit the notification bell. And for those of you who've been here before, welcome back. And as usual, get your books and get your pens and let's do some maths. We will now look at our first example. If we have 3x minus 2y is equal to 12, and we have x plus 4y is equal to 11. We need to find our values of x and y, or value of x and y. We're going to label our first equation equation 1 and our second equation equation 2. Looking at our equations, we need to subtract this equation, or we need to find the value of y or x first. So, looking at our equation, we can see that our first equation has 3x and our second equation has just x. So in order to cancel the x, we can multiply the second equation by 3 also to make it 3x. So rewriting our equations, we have 3x minus 2y is equal to 12, and 3x, remember we're multiplying equation 2, everything in equation 2 by 3. So we have 3x plus 12y, which is 4 times 3, is equal to 33, which is 11 times 3. We will be subtracting the second equation from the first equation. So we're going to subtract throughout. So you can see we've subtracted. Because our signs are confusing, I've just rewritten our final signs in red. So we have, it's going to be a negative 3, a negative 12y, because our negative and our positive gives us a negative, and then a negative 33. So now we can simplify this. We can subtract our second equation now from our first equation. We're going to have now 12 subtract 33. And that will give us negative 21. Then we're going to have negative 2y minus 12y, which would give us negative 14y. And then the 3x and minus 3x, it will cancel, so we have 0. Rewriting our final equation, we have minus 14y is equal to negative 21. To find for y, we're going to divide 14. So we have y is equal to negative 21 divided by negative 14. Our negative and our negative will cancel, so we'll have our answer as a positive 1.5. So we found our value for y, so we now need to find our value for x. So what we're going to do now is we're going to work this separately. Okay, so we can substitute the value of y to find for x. Now we need to substitute our value of y in one of our original equations. So I've chosen our equation number 1, which is 3x minus 2y is equal to 12. We're now going to substitute our y value, so wherever we see y, we're going to put 1.5. We have 3x minus 2 in brackets 1.5 is equal to 12. Simplifying this, we'll have 3x minus 3, which is 2 multiplied by 1.5, is equal to 12. Simplifying once again, we'll have 3x, 12 plus 3, because we're trying to find for x, so we're going to move the 3. And then simplifying that, we'll have 3x is equal to 12 plus 3, which is 15. Finding for x, we'll have to divide by 3 each side of our expression, so we'll have x is equal to 15 divided by 3. And simplifying that, we'll have 5. So our value for x is 5. So our final values for x and y are x is equal to 5 and y is equal to 1.5. So we've got all of our values here, but I want to show you another method that you can use to find for x and y. I will show you how we can solve for x and y using the graphical method. So we first write our original equations. So our first equation is 3x minus 2y is equal to 12. And our second equation is x plus 4y is equal to 11. Our first equation, we're going to let y equal to 0. When y is equal to 0, then therefore when we multiply the 2 by y, 2 multiplied by 0 would give us 0. So there's no point of writing it back, okay? So simplifying our equation, we have 3x is equal to 12. Then we're going to divide 3 because we're trying to find for x. So we have x is equal to 12 divided by 3. And that simplified would give us x is equal to 4. Now we need to let x equal to 0. And then we're going to simplify, work it the same again. So we're going to rewrite our equation again. We have 3x minus 2y is equal to 12. Since our x is equal to 0, since our x is equal to 0, then 3 multiplied by x would give us 0, so there is no point of writing that back. So we have minus 2y is equal to 12. Y is now equal to 12 divided by negative 2. Simplifying that, we'll have our answer as a negative 6. So y is equal to negative 6. So we've got our x value as 4 and our y value as negative 6. So bear with me, we aren't finished yet. We need to now find our x and y value of our second equation, and then we're going to plot those values on a graph. So our second equation, if we have y is equal to 0, then we need to solve for x. So x, let me write that in red. X would, when y is equal to 0, then x is going to equal to 11, because 4 multiplied by 0 would equal to 0. So x is equal to 11. Now we're going to equate our x to 0, simplifying that. So we're first going to rewrite our equation. We have x plus 4y is equal to 11. If x is equal to 0, then we'll have 4y is equal to 11. And then y would equal to 11 divided by 4. So we're dividing everything by 4. And then y will equal to, when that is simplified, we'll have y is equal to 2.75. We've got our values for x as 11. And we've got our value for y as 2.75. So we've got our two x values and our two y values. We're now going to plot this on a graph. I've drawn our graph here and I've written our x and our y values below on our left. So our first x is equal to 4 and our y is equal to negative 6. So we're going to connect those together so we have a straight line. And then our second x value is 11 and our y value is 2.75, which is somewhere around there. So we're going to draw a line to connect those 2 points as well. And where those two lines intersect, that point is going to be our x and our y value. So our final x and y value. From what we can see, our x will be more or less 5. And our y value will be somewhere around 1.75, we can say. So remember, we need to remember that these two lines aren't very straight and my graph is, the scale isn't very accurate. But if you're going to do this on a graph paper, then you are going to get more or less the same answer as what we got previously. Anyways, let us compare our values. So our value is x is equal to 5 and y is equal to 1.75. From our previous question, from our previous working, we had x is equal to 5 and y is equal to 1.5. So we're not off on our, we're not that far off on our calculation, but on our graph. But remember, that is all due to my error. So my scaling was not very accurate and my lines aren't very straight. But if you're to do this on a graph paper, you will get the same answer. And that brings us to the end of today's video. I hope you've learned how to find our x and y value using both methods that I've shown you today. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Your support is really appreciated. And for now, thank you so much for watching and see you next time. Bye!